The year 2026 began with a relentless, bone-deep cold across northern Europe. From the first days of January, a deep freeze settled over the land, transforming cities and countryside alike into a world of white silence. The air itself seemed to crystallize, every breath sharp and biting, every surface glazed with frost. In towns and villages, people awoke to windows etched with intricate ice patterns, and the familiar sounds of daily life were muffled beneath a thick, snowy hush. Day after day, temperatures plunged, the sun powerless against the Arctic chill. Even at midday, the light was pale and fleeting, casting long blue shadows across the frozen ground. The world felt suspended, as if time itself had slowed to match the sluggish pace of the season. People bundled in layers, their breath hanging in the air, as they braved the cold for only the most essential tasks. The Baltic Sea, usually restless and alive, began to freeze. First a delicate lace along the coast, then a thick, unyielding shield. The transformation was mesmerizing, delicate crystals forming on rocks and piers, slowly knitting together into a solid mass. Fishermen and sailors watched in awe and apprehension as the familiar waters became unrecognizable, locked beneath a growing expanse of ice. Waves stilled, replaced by eerie silence and the groaning of shifting ice. The usual rhythm of the sea was gone, replaced by the occasional thunderous crack as the ice adjusted to the relentless cold. Along the shore, the only sounds were the distant calls of winter birds and the crunch of boots on snow. The sea's transformation was gradual, but unstoppable, turning familiar landscapes into something wild and new. Each day the ice crept further from the shore, swallowing harbors and inlets, reshaping the coastline before the eyes of those who lived nearby. What was once open water became a vast alien plain, beautiful but forbidding. By mid-January, the ice was no longer confined to the shore. It advanced boldly into open water, redrawing maps and shipping lanes. Ships that once moved freely now sat trapped, their hulls encased in thick ice. Aerial views revealed a landscape transformed, shipping routes erased, the sea itself rendered impassable by nature's hand. Nature, not technology, dictated the rhythm of life. Communities adapted, finding new ways to move and work, while others simply waited for the thaw. Harbors stood empty, boats abandoned and frozen in place, silent witnesses to the power of winter. The routines of daily life bent to the will of the season, as people learned humility in the face of such overwhelming cold. This winter was not just a season, but an event, a breathtaking display of nature's power and unpredictability. Storms swept across the ice, sculpting drifts and ridges, while the sky shifted from brilliant blue to brooding gray. Each day brought new challenges, but also moments of stark, frozen beauty that took the breath away. The Baltic Sea held its breath, frozen in magnificent crystal stillness. Beneath the surface, life waited in silence, while above, the world was transformed into a shimmering expanse of ice and snow. The landscape was at once tranquil and awe-inspiring, a testament to the enduring force of winter. It was a humbling reminder, even in the modern world we remain at the mercy of the elements. In the face of such grandeur and power, humanity could only watch, adapt and marvel at the winter's icy embrace. By the end of January 2026, the Baltic Sea was utterly transformed, over 181,000 square kilometers encased in thick, unyielding ice, covering half its entire surface. This was not just a seasonal freeze, but a phenomenon that stunned scientists and locals alike. The sea, usually restless and alive with movement, had become a vast, silent expanse of white, stretching as far as the eye could see. For many, it was almost unrecognizable, a familiar landscape rendered alien by the sheer scale of the freeze. The previous winter's peak had reached just 81,000 square kilometers, making this year's freeze a dramatic anomaly. In a single season, the ice coverage more than doubled, shattering records and confounding expectations. Meteorologists scrambled to explain the sudden shift, while historians searched for any precedent in the Baltic's long, storied past. The contrast between the 2 years was stark, a reminder of how quickly nature can rewrite the rules. The ice reached far to the south, extending its grip beyond the usual boundaries and connecting lands that were once separated by water. Islands, which had always stood apart, now appeared as gentle hills, rising from a vast, unbroken white plain. The familiar geography was altered in ways that seemed almost surreal, as if the map itself had been redrawn overnight. The Bothnian Bay, known for its annual freeze, was joined by the Gulf of Finland and the coastlines of Estonia, Finland and Sweden, all locked in by ice. Harbors that usually bustled with ships and ferries now lay silent, their waters frozen solid. Fishing villages and port towns found themselves facing a landscape more reminiscent of the Arctic than the temperate Baltic they knew. From space, satellites captured a breathtaking mosaic of ice floes and frozen archipelagos. The sea's deep blue was almost entirely erased, replaced by a patchwork of whites and grays. These images, broadcast around the world, became symbols of the winter's severity, a visual testament to the power of nature to reshape even the most familiar places. The familiar geography was fundamentally altered. The sea became a solid bridge, not a barrier. Where ferries once sailed, people could now walk, skate, or even drive across the ice. Wildlife, too, adapted quickly. Foxes and deer were spotted crossing stretches of ice that had never before existed. The Baltic, long a dividing line, had become a link, connecting communities in ways no one had imagined. These images provided undeniable proof of the event's scale, a sea in suspended animation, caught between seasons. Scientists marveled at the data, while artists and photographers flocked to capture the surreal beauty of the frozen expanse. The transformation was both a scientific curiosity and a source of wonder, inspiring awe and reflection in equal measure. The winter of 2026 didn't just bring cold, it reshaped a major European landscape. Coastlines were redrawn, shipping routes vanished, and daily life was upended. For those living along the Baltic, the freeze was both a challenge and an opportunity, a chance to witness history in the making and to adapt to a world suddenly changed. It was a rare spectacle, rewriting expectations for what a Baltic winter could be. Locals ventured onto the ice, exploring places that had always been out of reach. Children played where waves once crashed, and communities gathered to marvel at the transformation. The frozen sea became a stage for new stories, memories, and traditions. The region stood witness to nature's capacity for sudden, sweeping change, a reminder that even in the modern world, the forces of the natural world can still surprise, humble, and inspire us all. For generations, coastal residents have watched the Baltic Sea transform each winter, waiting for the moment when the water finally freezes solid. When it does, the familiar shoreline is replaced by a vast, glittering expanse of ice, turning the sea into the world's grandest ice rink. The anticipation builds as the temperature drops, and soon, the entire community is drawn to the frozen edge, eager to step onto this temporary wonder. Skaters of all ages venture out, gliding from the mainland to distant islands, journeys that, in warmer months, could only be made by boat or ferry. Now, with the sea frozen solid, these once distant places are suddenly within reach, inviting exploration and adventure. The boundaries between land and sea dissolve beneath a seamless blanket of white and blue. The horizon stretches endlessly, and the familiar landmarks are transformed, hidden beneath snow and ice. It's a landscape that feels both alien and magical, where the ordinary rules no longer apply. For many, skating here is more than just a sport. It's a form of exploration, a personal journey across a wilderness that exists for only a few fleeting weeks each year. Each glide across the ice is a step into the unknown, a chance to experience the world from a new perspective. Local knowledge is essential. Residents learn to read the ice, testing its thickness with poles and listening for the telltale cracks that signal danger. They know which routes are safest and which areas to avoid, passing down this wisdom through generations. This careful navigation allows them to embrace the freedom of the frozen sea while respecting its risks. Families and friends gather for winter picnics, pulling sleds loaded with thermoses of hot drinks and baskets of food. They set up impromptu feasts on deserted snow-covered islands, laughing and sharing stories in the crisp winter air. For many, these moments become cherished memories, a celebration of togetherness and the rare opportunity to enjoy the sea in such an extraordinary way. The act of skating between islands captures the imagination, inspiring countless photos and stories. Social media fills with images of skaters silhouetted against the winter sun, and tales of daring journeys spread quickly through the community, adding to the legend of the frozen Baltic. For many, this experience becomes a symbol of joy and resilience, a reminder that even in the harshest conditions, people can find ways to celebrate life and connect with one another. The frozen sea brings out a spirit of adventure and unity that lingers long after the ice has melted. Even in the depths of winter, nature offers moments of breathtaking wonder. The sun sparkles on the ice, frost patterns form intricate designs, and the silence is broken only by the sound of skates gliding across the surface. It's a reminder of the beauty and power of the natural world. For a few precious weeks, the Baltic is transformed from a barrier into a playground. Children race across the ice. Families explore new places, and everyone shares in the magic of this fleeting season. It's an unforgettable dream made real, a time when the impossible becomes possible. In these moments, the frozen sea unites people in awe, adventure, and a shared sense of wonder, reminding us all of the extraordinary possibilities that lie just beyond the familiar. Nowhere was the spectacle more alive than in Haapsalu, Estonia. The bay froze solid, drawing skaters of all ages to its sprawling ice sheet. The frozen sea became a public square, laughter and color replacing the usual winter quiet. Skaters crossed from Haapsalu to the Norutsi Peninsula, seeing their town from the middle of the sea. It was a rare chance to connect with both nature and community, echoing traditions of centuries past. The gathering was more than recreation. It was a celebration of resilience and shared wonder. For a fleeting moment, the sea became a source of pure joy. The frozen Baltic was a playground for some, but a nightmare for shipping. One of the world's busiest maritime routes ground to a halt as thick ice trapped cargo ships and ferries. Ports in Finland, Estonia, and Russia fell silent, vessels stranded and waiting for rescue. Even powerful icebreakers struggled to keep lanes open, and supply chains faltered. The economic impact was immediate: delays, rising costs, and mounting frustration. The Great Freeze exposed the vulnerability of modern trade to nature's extremes. The silent port stood as a stark reminder: the Baltic's power can override even the best-laid plans. To keep essential links open, fleets of icebreakers became the heroes of the frozen sea. They carved narrow channels through shifting ice, creating lifelines for stranded ships. Satellite images captured these dark corridors, human ingenuity etched across a white wilderness. The task was relentless and dangerous, requiring skill and teamwork to avoid becoming trapped themselves. These channels symbolized resilience and determination, a refusal to be cut off by winter's grip. While skaters enjoyed freedom, icebreakers fought to maintain vital connections. The struggle between human need and nature's force played out daily on the frozen Baltic. The Baltic freeze was the result of a winter more severe than any in a generation. Estonia endured weeks of unbroken cold, with temperatures locked below freezing. Rivers, lakes, and even waterfalls froze solid. Snow accumulated, never melting. The air was sharp, the landscape blanketed in white, and daily life slowed to a winter's pace. Unlike typical winters, there were no thaws, just relentless, deepening cold. The frost penetrated land and sea, allowing ice to grow thicker and more extensive. This winter became a new benchmark, a story to be retold for years. It was a reminder of the climate's capacity for extremes, echoing the harsh winters of folklore. For many, it was their first taste of a truly severe, northern European winter. The land and its people were fundamentally changed by the duration and intensity of the freeze. Tartu, Estonia's intellectual heart, became a key witness to the historic cold. The city recorded its longest stretch of sub-zero days since 1999, week after week below freezing. The Ema-Jogi River froze solid, parks and buildings draped in persistent snow and frost. Life slowed, heating plants worked overtime, and the city adapted to the deep freeze. The data from Tartu confirmed the winter's severity, mirroring the drama on the Baltic Sea. The city's experience was a microcosm of the region's ordeal, a testament to endurance and adaptation. Tartu stood as proof. This was not just another winter, but a defining event. The Baltic freeze of 2026 was a winter of contrasts, stunning beauty and formidable challenge. It created a fleeting kingdom of ice, where people skated between islands and landscapes dazzled in white, yet it also halted trade, stranded ships, and tested the resilience of communities and engineers. The event highlighted nature's double-edged power, offering both wonder and hardship. In an era of warming, such a freeze was a paradox, a reminder of climate's unpredictability. The winter left an indelible mark, a story of joy, struggle, and awe. It was a season when the sea held its breath, and the world was remade in ice. Above all, it reminded us of our enduring connection to the magnificent cycles of the natural world.